Hey folks, Arvin here. Today we're going to be drawing this face. A lot of people have difficulties drawing face. I'm just going to break down some of the basic concepts and proportions for you. So let's get started. Hey folks, welcome to Driven to Draw. My name is Arvin, and today we're going to be talking about how to draw a face. So let's get started. I start with an oval shape, which is just an egg shape, and I dissect the egg shape in half, which is going to establish my eye line. And then dissecting from the eye line to the bottom of the oval shape would be where the nose will reside. And then about a third of the way from the nose line to the bottom of the chin is where I have my mouth, which is going to be the midpoint of your mouth. So as you can see here, as I'm dissecting, or I'm kind of splitting up the eyes here so that I get 5 eye lengths between the width of my entire face. So just to kind of recap, make sure that when you're drawing your oval, you dissect it in half, which is going to give you your eye line. And then from the eye line to the bottom of the chin will give you your nose, the bottom of your nose. And then a third away from the bottom of your nose to your chin is going to be your mouth. Now the width of your nose is going to be defined by the same width of your eye. So you have 5 eyes, so the third eye, which is going to be in the center, that'll establish the width of your entire nose from one nostril to the other nostril. So the total width, the width of the mouth is defined by striking a vertical line from the center of your eye on both sides. You drop down that vertical, and that'll establish the total width of your mouth. Now for the eyebrows, you don't need to make them too close to your eyes. They should have a little bit of a spacing right after your eyelid. I think you can look at some references, but if you drop a vertical line from your eye, from the center of your eye to the bottom of your eye, you can kind of use that distance and just add that to the top and then place your eyebrows in that location. But it's different. People are different, anatomies are different, so it's not as important. As I continue on with the drawing, what I'm going to do here is just start to add a little bit of details. You can see I'm starting to flesh out the eyes and the eyebrows a little bit, and I'm darkening it up. I've put the upper eyelid around the eye, and I've got the pupils identified, and then I'm just applying a little bit of light shading. And then underneath the eye, there's going to be a little bit of that wrinkle to define the shape of the eye around the eye socket. And so having these tiny little details just gives a little bit more realism to your drawings as you're working through them. Now another challenging aspect of drawing is the nose. The nose is I used to have a lot of difficulty drawing noses. They're not very easy to do. It's hard to kind of define and three-dimensionalize the shapes. So when you take this approach for drawing noses, you should try to just create shapes that are simplified and make them a little bit more planar. I've kind of cultivated a habit over time, so now I kind of understand what the nose shape looks like, and it's more like muscle memory now for me when I start to shade the nose. So in due time, as you go through it, you'll recognize how simplifying shapes are always the best way to go before you start to flesh them out and add a lot of contour lines to them. The ears, as you can see here, the ears end up being at the top of the eye. So the top of the ear and the bottom of the ear. The bottom of the ear will align to the nose, the bottom of your nose, and the top of the ear will align to the eyelid of your eye. I've added here a little bit of, some slight shading for the cheekbones. And now I'm just going to drop in some hair. And I'm just lightly sketching it through. We're gonna add a little bit of indication of the cranial mass, just the forehead here above your eyebrows. I'd also suggest picking up some good anatomy books to kind of break down the eyes a little bit more, so that you know the components of the eye and have a better understanding. I'm adding some shadow underneath the nose, and as I work through the drawing, I keep adding that shadow line throughout the nose, the mouth, and then underneath to the chin area, and then into the neck. And I'm going to go back here into the hair, and I'll define the hair and just volumize it with a little bit of texturing and shading. We're going to define the mouth a little bit, and I've gone with a little darker tone gray marker. I started off with something pretty light, which was I think around 40% gray, and now I'm at like I think 70% warm gray. It doesn't matter what you use. Alright, so we're just kind of wrapping up the sketch. This should give you a pretty nice basic idea of how to sketch faces and define the proportions. And so hope you learned something here, and be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time here on Driven to Draw. Have a good one.